So I was recently going through this stretch where like every morning when I was waking up, the only dreams that I was able to recall were like negative dreams, which is pretty odd for me, where I can definitely have negative dreams, of course, but normally it'd be like, even if it's like one full negative dream, you know, the dreams before, the dreams after later in the night would be more neutral or positive. Or it would happen even more often than that. It would be like a negative part of an individual dream, but then, you know, either before or after that one part of the dream would be more neutral or positive. But then just like stretched on for like days in a row, like a week plus, which is, you know, even more odd. So as I was going through that, I ended up like talking to a buddy of mine where like I recently turned 40. Doesn't really matter, but as I was prepping for you know, the party and celebration and like, you know, hitting up my boys, seeing if they could make it or whatever, end up reaching out to one of my buddies who didn't end up coming. He doesn't live on Oahu like I do, but a very like religious dude. And so like for me, I grew up, you know, Christian, went full on atheist for a while, and now I'm somewhere like in the middle. I would say I'm more religious than I am atheist, but I definitely wouldn't consider myself religious. But even though that's the case, I still enjoy talking about religion to my, you know, to my buddies who are really religious. And this one guy in particular, he knew me when I was more like, you know, on the full-on atheist side. So we wouldn't really talk about it. We would more like debate it. But anyway, so I reached out to him, and actually what kind of brought that up too is I was looking at this interview where this guy, he was like one of Hawaii's most wanted, this guy, Kyle Kilau Sig. So he was like, going to a good school. He was like, you know, gonna go pro level golf. When he was young, he used to golf with like Tiger Woods and stuff like that. So, you know, had a very bright future. Anyway, ends up like getting into drugs, smoking ice, and, you know, eventually his whole life falls apart. Goes to jail for a really long time. Forget what it was, but like a decade or so. And he was sharing his story how, you know, he wasn't very religious before that, but once he got in jail and saw how hard it was, you know, like one of the biggest gangs tried to recruit him, he turns him down, so they beat him almost to death and all this stuff. And he was saying how, like, you know, his faith in God and Christianity is really what saved him and like pulled him through that, you know, incredibly hard experience. So I had that like interview fresh in my mind as I was talking to my buddy. And so, you know, so we're talking about other stuff, and then I'm, you know, how's my channel doing? Like, man, you could just go look at my channel and, you know, leave a comment or like and subscribe, help pump the algorithm up. I was like, oh, you know, it's doing pretty good. I'm still doing it. Hit 1,000 subscribers recently or whatever. So that was cool. Then as we're talking about that, you know, I was telling him how, yeah, you know, like, oh yeah, you know, all my dreams lately have been really negative. And I was watching this thing about Christianity. And then of course it's like, oh, you know, why don't you try praying for better dreams? And I was like, yeah, you know, that sounds like a pretty interesting idea. A fun little experiment for me to try. So I thought I would give it a try. And now, you know, because my friend was kind of talking me up on it, I just finished watching that interview. The guy's talking about Christianity. So I had a, you know, I think that really helped build my expectation for what was to happen when I would give it a try. Plus, you know, lying in bed, praying before I go to sleep for better dreams is also helping to sink that intention in deeper to have better dreams as well too, right? And so I was going to do that for a week. Ended up only recording five nights of dream journals during that week. But all those 5 nights, it did kind of seem to work. Where 3 out of the 5 nights, my dreams were mostly neutral to positive with some negative things thrown in there. So did it work? I don't know. You know, would have to do obviously a lot more research into it to really see, to really get a better pool of data to try and find a real conclusion from it. But, you know, I thought it was pretty neat. So I tried it for that week. And then I got a little bit unmotivated as I've been playing a bunch of video games and whatnot, and haven't been getting up early enough to dream journal and things like that. But was kind of cool, and it did seem to kind of help. So, you know, take that for what it is. Anyway, just a quick one I thought I'd throw in there. And until the next video, keep your dream work practices legit.